Thank you, sir.
Good evening. Come to Sin City. We're waiting for you.
That's all right, Bruce. I didn't want anybody to see that anyway. All right. No, Bruce just faded out a little early, Andrea. That's all right. People will catch up on the clip, on the intro clip next week. Or if they don't, we'll show it later on the show. Welcome to Unfiltered. I'm back from Las Vegas. We've had a month off. The crew's a little shaky because I just threw a new intro at them, new credits, all new everything. So, and they've had a month off too.
And we don't practice.
Oh, that's right.
We don't rehearse.
We don't practice at all. And you know, I had meant to like write out this whole show this week, and time just seemed to slip away. Somebody's calling me. But here, Greg, throw this out in the other room. It's really making me vibrate. Yeah. Hold my calls, thank you. Well, one of the reasons that we were off for a month was that we had gone out to the National Association of Broadcasters Convention in Las Vegas for a week between the 11th of April and the 16th of April. It was a fantastic show, and I have to tell you, the 3D that is coming is out of this world. Sony had a display that was basically like a Jumbotron showing 3D images. They had a parade, some football footage, and that was the footage I saw. Lee saw a couple other things. I can't remember what he said they were. But they had a scene of the guys coming out of the tunnel onto the field, football players. And with the 3D glasses on, it looked just like they were walking right past you. Unbelievable. Sharp, clear. It's coming. They're already selling 3D TVs, and people are buying them for thousands of dollars. Another 5 years, a 3D TV will be no more expensive than, you know, your regular 32-inch high-def TV. You know, look at the difference in price from high-def 5 years ago to the high-def TVs now. You can pick them up for a song, or even 2 years ago. This year I was a little bit more comfortable at the show. I wasn't in such a state of awe at all the things I was seeing. There was stuff that I walked by that went, oh yeah, I looked at that last year. But we actually sat down and talked to the people that build our broadcast controller, a company called Laytronics. And we talked to them about their system. And as users every day, we know the little quirks, the little problems that we have with their program and their hardware. The NAB show was our chance to tell the people that make this stuff, look, here's what we have problems with. We have a problem because at the end of a day, if the program falls short before the midnight hour, it doesn't give us a little warning that there's a space there. And the people that we were talking to were writing all this stuff down, and they'll go back and they'll address all those problems. And I imagine they must have went home with notebooks full of stuff because there were, I believe the official count was over 88,000 attendees at this convention. Everybody, I mean, there were people from Brazil, there were people from all over the world, you know, people from MTV, people from the professional bull riders, PBR. You know, the PBR stuff that you see on TV. I talked to one of their camera guys and an audio guy. Not at the show, but they were in Vegas, and I bumped into them elsewhere and found out that they were there for the show. And also because the PBR was in Vegas the week after we left. I didn't really, when I go there as a worker, I'm there to talk to people. I'm there to look around, to listen, you know, basically keep my mouth shut and listen and learn. So I never expected to find an answer to one of my biggest problems, which is as a camera operator who wears eyeglasses, I'm constantly looking under my glasses, over my glasses, or taking my glasses off to see the viewfinder. A company called Hoodman now makes a pair of glasses that the lenses lift up individually, not together, but you could lift up just one to look into the eyepiece while still being able to see everything else with your other eye. Wow. Fantastic invention. And Hoodman sells the frames. You then have to take the frames to an optometrist and have lenses put in. But they're not a special shape. They're not a special glass. So just, you know, your regular, everyday, normal lens will work in them. I'm getting a pair because that's a problem. You know, I get to the point where I go, you know, the worse my eyesight gets, eventually you have to stop being a camera operator when you can't see anymore. But having the ability to lift up one lens and look at the camera and still be able to have clear vision out of the other eye. Because a lot of people will notice, like if I'm doing Music Fest or something, I don't wear my glasses so that I can see in the viewfinder, but everything else is just like shapes, you know. So, but it was a good find. So I'm looking into purchasing those. We looked at, I believe Lee looked at like some telephoto lenses for the cameras, for some of the stuff that we do like at the high school, the Colonial, where we need that extra little push in. What else did we look at? Oh, Lee purchased the remote control helicopter with his own money. We had originally intended to purchase it as Cheshire TV equipment and use it for filming, because it's a remote control helicopter with a wireless television resolution camera on it. And I mean, it looks great. But Lee said it's kind of tough to fly. The blades are very sharp, and when the thing comes out of the sky, it comes out like a rock. So we don't want to, you know, be flying it, because the idea was maybe we could use it at Pumpkin Fest. But it's just not going to work. So Lee says, you know, he's just going to, you know, put the money, you know, use his money for the purchase of the helicopter, and he'll just keep it and play with it. So one of the coolest things about the show, it has really nothing to do with TV. Mark, Ernie, and I all attended a sit-down talk with Stan Lee, the creator of Spider-Man and Fantastic Four and Marvel Comics. He was, you know, one of the main people behind Marvel Comics. And he had a thing, I believe it was Wednesday morning while we were out there, a thing called In Conversation with Stan Lee. And of course, we went expecting it, you know, just to learn a little bit about him about his new endeavors. Very casual. We were allowed to film. We didn't know that beforehand, but we were allowed to film. Ernie got some footage with his little 35 millimeter camera that also shoots video. And I don't know why I wanted to show you the clip, but we were front row center, and here's a couple minutes of the Stan Lee conversation.
It really started with the Fantastic Four. You know, when you're in conversation this way, I never know whether to look at you or look at the people. So I'm trying to do both. I'm sort of an equal opportunity.
Tell us, bitch. Oh, we cheat out. That guy wants you to look at him.
Anyway, the question was, when did I know? Yeah, I like to summarize these things for you. I know you have a short interest in. When did I realize that we were on?
Wait a minute, aren't you Stanley?
Sorry. We were on to something, right? It was after the Fantastic Four. That was the first book we did where I said, the hell with it. I'm going to try to let them talk like real people might talk and react to each other and have personalities and so forth. And I was trying to be realistic in the sense, if Johnny Storm, the Human Torch, don't go telling anybody, if Johnny Storm was going to drive a car, it wouldn't be a whiz-bang V8, it would be a Chevy Corvette. And if they were going to go to a movie, they wouldn't go to the Bijou, they'd go to the Radio City Music Hall. And they lived in the east side of downtown Manhattan and so forth, instead of Metropolis or Gotham City. I wanted to be realistic. Well, after a while, we started getting fan mail. Now, we had never had fan mail before. All of a sudden, I got letters written in crayon. Then, after a while, they were written in pencil. Then they were written in ink. Later on, I started getting some that were typed. And suddenly, the return addresses were from a high school and a college. I said, we're on to something. And that's what happened. It was when the emails started coming in. And the first impressive thing that happened, I'll never forget 4 kids who were members of the Cleosophic Society, and I don't know what that means, from Princeton, came to the office, and they wanted to make me an honorary member of the Princeton Cleosophic Society. So I said, we have arrived. Comic books have now reached the proper level.
Yeah. So what a truly genuine, honest, funny man who came and shared 45 minutes with I don't know, there might have been 200 of us in the room. And just a great, great thing. Talking about his kind of workflow of how when he started, he would write the lyrics or he would write all the words and then somebody would draw in the pictures. But after a while, he just started telling the artists, here's the storyline, draw me the pictures, I'll put in the words later. And apparently that's the way comics are done now. So he was very interesting to listen to. And like I said, it was, you know, it didn't cost us anything. It was part of the show. But it just goes, I mean, here's a guy that started basically with nothing, you know, with an idea and just pushed on and pushed on and pushed on. And I mean, he's sitting pretty now, you know. He's like, when you mention comic books, the first person that pops into your head is Stan Lee, because he was so instrumental in the whole thing. So that was like one of the biggest highlight of our show, was that we got to see Stan Lee. And the fact I found the eyeglasses. I ran into, once again this year, Tim Simons, who is from Keene, works at a place called Audio Accessories, I believe, is the name of it. I always forget. It's either Audio Connections or Audio Accessories. He makes patch bays over in Marlow. But he was there, had his booth. So that was fun. 6 hours a day, granted we were working, so it's, the minimum of 6 hours a day for the most part, walking around that convention. The place is huge, and there are so many booths to see. You take it in little chunks, and you go through until your brain just can't take it or your legs can't take it anymore. And then you go back and you have some off time. The best thing about the convention, other than getting to see all this stuff, is the fact that they hold it in the entertainment capital of the world. So while you're out there, and believe me, I talked to some guys that were out there for the show. The only thing they do the show, they go back to the hotel, they eat in their room, and then they go to bed. And they get up the next day and they go to the show and they repeat it. Basically just like another week at work. Another real week at work. Not us. Lee is a firm believer in if you're in Vegas, you spend your work time working once you've fulfilled your work duties. And he had expectations for all of us. He said, you'll spend this much time at the convention. You'll visit this many booths. You'll get this much, We all came back with big packets of stuff that we had looked into. After work hours, he doesn't want us to waste the fact that we're in Las Vegas. Lee saw our show every night. I didn't want to see a show every night because when you're at a show, I couldn't be taping for Unfiltered. And I wanted to bring back stuff for you folks to see. And I did. We went to 2 shows. But we went, one evening we strolled around, we saw the Volcano show at the Mirage. We saw the Treasure Island show, Sirens of T.I. We ended up one evening at Gillies in Treasure Island. They've got a Gillies in Treasure Island. Every one of the bar stools is a saddle. And it's really kind of cool. Their drinks were, the waitresses were, I've got to say, probably the least amount of clothing of any of them was the Gillies girls. Pretty much like a bikini and chaps was all they had on, and a hat. And they're fun. Of course, if you're a waitress or a hostess or whatever in Vegas, you get paid to be sweet to people. That's what you get paid for. So they're all nice and cute and sweet and lovey-dovey, and then they'll take their tip and right on to the next guy. Hey. But walking around the Strip, I like to do free things because, frankly, I'm cheap. But walking around the Strip, looking at people, Vegas is one of the best places to watch people in the world. And there's entertainment on the streets. While we were in Gillies, I was a little drunk, maybe. Maybe not drunk, but I was feeling a little on the adventurous side. And I was trying to prove what a stud I was to the waitresses there, like I had a chance with them. But one of them said, "Are you going to ride the bull?" And what else would a dude that's almost 50 years old that's had a heart attack say, but yeah. But I had a prerequisite. Said if I'm going to ride the bull, I have to be able to film it. Because people in Keene won't believe it. Well, believe it. Because here it is.
It really started with the Fantastic Four.
Oh, we're going to jump back. That's all right.
It really
This was cute. I had to.
Yeah, you like that, Greg? Yeah, it was tough. I'll tell you, I was whooped after that ride. Oh, man. I don't know how those guys do it. And the girls, because the little cute blonde there, she got up right after I did, and she stood up on the thing and did just, and then she did the same where she sat like backwards on it, and it would go up, and she'd kind of slide down, and then it would go the other way, and she'd kind of jump back, and then she'd slide down again, she'd kind of jump back, and it was kind of nice to look at. I'm just saying. Jeez, the scenery in Vegas is just amazing. Thursday night, Ernie and I went down to Fremont Street because I was hoping to get a bunch of footage like I did last year of the overhead shows and the stage shows. But none of that was, well, the overhead shows were the same as last year, so I was disappointed. None of the stage shows were happening because they were in the middle of setting up stages for the American Country Music Awards, which were there the weekend that we left. We did happen to walk through, I don't know, 6 or 7 casinos within an hour, which is one of the beauties of Fremont Street. Everything is close together, where on the Strip, it takes you, an hour and a half to get from one casino to the next one. Fremont Street, you can do one entire side of the street in an hour and a half. No problem. But I had made some contacts last year. Of course, you may remember the juggling bartender from last year's clips and last year's intros. Ran into him. He was still working on Fremont Street, so I stopped and talked with him. Ran into Carl Safe Sax Ferris. This dude is like one of my favorite sax players in the world now. And not only is he a saxophone player, but every instrument that you hear in his music that he plays in the background, he has played and recorded. So what he does is he records all the tracks and lays them all out, and then he goes down on Fremont Street, sets up his little deal, and plays the background music and plays his saxophones. And I got another clip. And this is, I'm going to use it as an interlude. So in this Mom's Tattoo Vegas interlude is Carl Safe Sax Ferris.
This one's cute.
Thank you. All right. Okay. All right. This next song is called All Blown Out. Yeah. I'm all blown out. Yeah. I'm gonna play all three horns in this song.
Carl Safe Sax Ferris. The man, he's got to make like a ton of money out there. And I think we were listening to, I don't know what number it was, but he sells CDs. So that's why I put the website up there, just in case anybody, liked what they heard. They can go onto his website, and he's also on Facebook. I can't remember if he's under Carl Ferris or under Safe Sax, but yeah, really, like I said, he plays down Fremont Street, he usually fills all the time between the end of one overhead show and the beginning of the next overhead show. And people love it. People get their pictures taken with him, and again, I love it because it didn't cost me anything. So, on the other hand, this is what I've been waiting for all year, to do this show, to talk about this particular subject right here. We went to, like I said, we saw 2 shows, or I saw 2 shows while I was out there. Peep Show, which was like a Vegas review, topless, dancing. It was all right. We saw Bite. Now, this is the 2nd year I've seen Bite. They just had their 5th year anniversary. That show's been running in Vegas at the Stratosphere for 5 years. And when you go see it, you understand why. Now, I was interested. The show starts at 10:30, 6 nights a week. They have Thursday nights off. There's another show in the same theater that starts every night at 7:30 and runs until 9:30 or so. So the crew of Bite, which is comprised of 8 guys, it takes them 6 to 7 minutes to set up the stage. And of course, after we saw the show, I bought a DVD and talked to the company manager and got the okay to use some of the DVD. And I was surprised that they had a clip of the crew doing their thing. So I did a little TV magic, and this is the crew of Bite hard at work. Yeah. 8 guys, 6 to 7 minutes do that. That's impressive. And I mean, that's ball busting stuff. But that's what they have to do, because there's a show right before them. They turn the studio around, pretty much like we do here, at Cheshire TV, when there's 2 shows like Cinemaniacs and Choices, when Cinemaniacs and Choices both film on the same night. Ernie and I run like crazy to get the sets swapped out so that Cinemaniacs can go right after Choices. Vegas, being in a Vegas show. Party time, huh? Show business. Isn't that what it's all about? You do your show, you party like crazy. Nope. No chance. Bite is a very high energy, what I would consider kind of an athletic show. I sent an email to the company manager asking him about, what a typical week was. I want to know if it was a full-time job. Because you think if somebody's performing an hour and a half every night, well, that leaves plenty of time for other work. But no, this show is a full-time job. The dancers have one mandatory rehearsal every week where a dance captain gives them notes on what they've screwed up, because the dance captain reviews videos of every one of the shows that they perform, and the dance captain and the company manager swap notes, figure, all that little stuff, and then it goes back to the girls at the mandatory rehearsal to work on and correct. If more rehearsals are needed, they're taken. The show contains some acrobatic stuff. So the people that perform that have got to do gymnastics training all the time. They're doing strength training, practicing their craft. There's magic involved in the show, so that has to be practiced. As well as the show has a storyline. So the dancers, on top of being dancers, also have to basically be actors. They actually have to become characters. The girls show up for the show an hour before showtime to get their costumes ready, to get their makeup done. Seems to me like it would take the head vampire a little bit longer to do his makeup. But one of the biggest things is when you look at this show, you'll see that there's no silicone. The girls are all hard body, tight, dancer, gymnastic type bodies. They have to stay that way. I was told by the company manager that these girls are hired to do a specific job, to look and act a specific way, and they have to maintain that. So gain a pound, you've screwed something up. Lose a pound, you've screwed something up. Everything. And they look at that. And of course, the same way with athletes, these girls perform 6 nights a week, or girls and guys, 6 nights a week. And in order to have a successful show, you have to stay injury-free. And that's tough doing some of the stuff that these folks do. But anyway, I put together a little clip. I promised the company manager that the DVD now has a 20-minute version of the show. And I want to preface this by saying that I've added music over. The soundtrack in the live show includes the likes of Alice Cooper, Twisted Sister, Bad Company, Styx, Nazareth, Van Morrison, Pat Benatar, Van Halen, and 25 other bands just like them. All classic rock. It also includes a fantastic piano concerto by Garen Bader. So basically what I tried to do in my segment here is to show you folks the story with a little teaser of the show. So here's Bite.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, the Lord Vampire. Welcome to my party. 400 years ago, I was madly in love with the world's most beautiful creature. Our union was perfect. It was pure, innocent, and eternal. Her life was tragically taken from me, and I was cursed to live as a creature of the night forever. Though I have found pleasure with the cloak of night, I still find myself longing for my heart, longing for my one true love, my eternal soulmate. I will find her, seduce her, and before the bell tolls, will convince her to reign with me as the queen of the night.
And that's the show. Yeah, it is, in my mind, the cream of the crop in Vegas. If you go to Vegas and don't see this show, forget about it. I got the website up, biteandbeyond.com. Go there. There's tell you everything you need to know. He introduce you to the cast, the merchandise. Like I said, the DVD is incredible. There are little sound bites of all the songs that they use in the live show, but because of copyright and permissions and things, the company manager told me it would cost them like $70,000 a year to have the rights to use all the songs in the DVD. So, yeah, I mean, this is, in my eyes, and granted, I haven't seen all the shows in Vegas, but this one right here, Bite, is, so far, my favorite. It's got a storyline, it's got great music, it's got beautiful girls dancing, and it's got a fight scene. That's an awesome fight scene. And that's tough. That whole stage fighting thing, you've got to really practice or get knocked the hell out. Yeah. All right. So I see we're getting down under 10 minutes, so I'll jump to the next big thing that we did. Thursday was the last day of the conference. Thursday is the day when everybody is packing their stuff up. So not a whole lot of stuff goes on Thursdays. It's basically Thursday is the day you go in and you say goodbye to everybody, you know, nice seeing you again, we'll see you next year type of thing. Then I did something else I wanted to do. I went indoor skydiving. Ernie agreed to take the camera over and film me. The Vegas indoor skydiving was more than happy to let us film. And, all right, take a look at the clip. We'll come back and talk for a minute after this. I'm about to sacrifice myself for the show.
You guys watch a little video. It's just going to go over some of the basics of this. It's going to go over your body position, some of the hand signals we use, and a little bit of safety. Okay.
These pointers will help you create a perfect flow of air around your body. If you extend parts of your body out into the air will push you in the other direction. Here's something important. As you know, what goes up must come down.
This is Vegas Indoor Skydiving's waiver. It is a legal document. It states you understand flying is an athletic activity with the risk of injury.
Keyword is death. So this is our last day in Vegas. We're going to start it off good. Indoor skydiving at Vegas Indoor Skydiving.
Now, you've got an option. What I can do is have you film through the windows.
Okay.
Or you can empty everything out of your pockets and I can have you sit in the doorway. That way you can kind of look all around.
All right.
You want to do that?
I'll do that.
Okay.
I believe our pilot has arrived.
Yep. This is Lance. He's controlling the wind for us. Woo!
After you, no, after you.
You guys can come right down to the net. Right down here. Alright. Who wants to go first? Alright. Ready? Nice big catch.
That's a lot less strenuous than the bull riding.
Yeah.
Good job in there, guys. Thanks a lot for coming in.
Thank you.
How many times do you have to do it beyond do you or have to do it? I mean,
I've worked here for about 4 years.
Yeah.
So, a lot.
Yeah.
It's not the number of chunks, it's the number of hours.
Yeah.
spin up in the air. So it's just like anything though, it takes practice, like riding a bike or something.
Just like everything takes practice. I gotta tell you, that was like the coolest thing I've ever done, man. And that's out in Las Vegas. I believe it's vegasskydive.com or something. Anyway, I see we're burned through this hour quick. So I am going to get 2 Vegas episodes out of this trip. Oh, okay. So I'm going to get 2 episodes out of this. We'll clean up with next week. Well, I've got some stuff from Madame Tussauds Wax Museum. I've got some still pictures from the Bellagio Gardens. I believe we've got some video from the Caesar's Palace Fountain Show. And we'll wrap up Vegas in the next episode. So till next week, this is Rick Blood. Peace.
Refreshments provided by G. Housen Distributors. Premium beverages delivered.